These 3 years of the invasion coincide with an important turning point, the Trump factor. The European Union and Ukraine's allies have seen how the United States, Kiev's main supporter, is now threatening to withdraw aid from it after approaching Moscow. Brussels has approved new sanctions against Russia today, and Trump, Christina Alia, wants compensation to continue helping Kiev. Yes, Trump is pressuring Zelensky to sign an economic deal this week. He wants Ukraine to give the United States half of the wealth that comes from its natural resources, minerals, gas, oil, in exchange for the help that the White House has been giving him. With Ukraine, he is talking about money, and with Russia about something else, about negotiating peace. Donald Trump has turned the United States' position in this war upside down. He has chosen to talk to Putin, not only excluding Zelensky, but has come to call him a dictator. The White House has gone from defending Ukraine to blaming it for the war, and this unsettling turn in Europe. Precisely today, he is here at the White House. The President of France, Emmanuel Macron, has come to talk to Trump and to ask him not to abandon Ukraine, not to take either Ukraine or Europe away from the negotiating table. The head of European diplomacy will travel to Washington tomorrow to meet with Secretary of State Marco Rubio. The European Union, which has been displaced from the negotiations, and insist that nothing can be decided on Ukraine without Ukraine, and nothing on Europe without Europe. Kayak Kallas recognizes that there are statements by the United States that are worrying in Brussels, and regrets that the narrative of Russia is being imposed. It is conditioning. The American speech says the foreign ministers of the 27 gathered here today observed a minute of silence on this third anniversary of the war, kept up the pressure, and also approved a new package of sanctions against Russia. In 3 years, the image has completely changed. The Western countries welcomed President Zelensky with open arms and invited him to intervene in their parliaments, consolidating international support for Kiev in front of Putin. Ukraine is alive and well, he said from the capital. With Trump in the White House, the situation is different. Before winning the elections, he received Zelensky in New York. "We have a good relationship," said the now President of the United States. For a good relationship, the one he has now with his Russian counterpart, Trump has announced a meeting with Putin, but none with Zelensky, whom he defines as a dictator.
The position is now much weaker, and this is evidenced by the fact that in the first talks, Ukraine was belittled by not including it.
Inside Ukraine, the massive support that Zelensky counted on is being diluted. More than half of Ukrainians want the war to end in negotiations. A completely different scenario from Putin's in Russia.
Vladimir Putin has a stable government. If the negotiations for peace in Ukraine benefit Russia a lot, he will go down in history as just another czar.
A czar whom Biden went so far as to call war criminal. Putin takes advantage of Trump's return to power, and they take a first step to thaw the relationship between the two countries, and increasingly strengthened Putin and a cornered Zelensky, to whom the United States is beginning to turn its back.